Matinee prices. We're looking at giant feet. Because that's what we do here at Matinee Prices. Of course, it's a movie. So, giant feet in a movie. But, yeah, you're here. We're talking about giant feet. We're going to talk about a specific subject today. What are we doing?
We're as you can see, a couple weeks ago, actually it's been a few weeks at this point, Gene Wilder passed away. And we are both big fans of Gene Wilder, as I imagine. Have you ever met anyone who didn't like Gene Wilder?
Yes.
Okay.
Hitler.
Hitler sucked, though. Hitler was like a horrible judge of character.
He did not
so
like
the
Gene
fact
Wilder.
that Hitler didn't like him means Gene Wilder was awesome. That's the exception that proves the rule.
Yeah.
I was having a discussion with my dad the other day, and talking about this show, and I just mentioned Gene Wilder, and he and I have never, like, we talk about movies, but I don't think we'd ever spoke about Gene Wilder specifically, and he was like, I love Gene Wilder. Him and Peter Sellers are like my two favorite comedy actors of all time. So everybody loved Gene Wilder. So we're going to talk about Gene Wilder. I do want to say we're not going to try to make this we're not going to try to make this sad. We're not going to get sentimental, sappy. His family and loved ones had all the sadness covered because they actually knew him. We're just going to honor the man's work and try to keep this light and fun because he made movies that were light and fun. And that's what we're going to talk about, remembering the man, but ain't nobody going to cry at the end of this episode.
Nah.
So, but before we get to Gene Wilder...
Maybe because you watched the episode.
Exactly, or it'll make you remember, you know, like how awesome he was, and
Yeah.
you'll get sad.
You'd wonder why you watched this show.
Exactly. Or you'll be crying just because you wasted 30 minutes watching.
There you go. I know I will.
The poor man's Wayne and Garth here talking about movies.
Yeah.
But before we get to Gene Wilder, a bunch of other people passed away recently. We could go all the way back and talk. We could do a whole episode about David Bowie and Prince. I was inconsolable when Prince died. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't. Got the tattoo right there. He was the man. I basically didn't talk for a week. I just watched old Prince videos and Purple Rain on a loop for like 72 hours straight.
Yeah.
But that was a while ago. Everybody's accepted that. But a lot of people died other than Gene Wilder. So I want to touch on that just a little bit. First off, Kim McGuire. You may not know that name, but she was Hatchet Face in Crybaby. She was never a big star, and she only had a few other credits to her name, but Crybaby is one of my favorite movies, and she played Hatchet Face, and she was fantastic. A big one, Bill Nunn.
Bill Nunn.
Bill Nunn, fantastic. He was a fantastic character actor.
Yeah.
We love the character actors on this
He's
show.
been acting for years in just about everything, but he was hugely known and popular for his role in Spike Lee's 1989 Do the Right Thing, where he played Radio Raheem, where he rolled around with a big old jam box.
Yep.
And
He
had
had
gold
the
rings. That
rings,
had
yeah.
love and hate. So big shout out to Bill Nunn, because I tell you right now, that was 30 years ago. And if you haven't seen Do the Right Thing, because that's my number 3 movie of all time.
It's a good one.
If you haven't seen it, basically we're kind of in it right now with the stuff that's going on in this country. So you know it's oddly
Still
symbolic or ironic or prescient. Yeah, whatever big word you want to use.
Socially relevant, always will be.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Do the Right Thing, you probably know him as Robbie Robertson from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, and he
The
played
first Spider-Man trilogy.
Yeah, and he played the Dada Man in New Jack City. He was also in Kiss the Girls, He Got Game, and Idlewild.
Yep.
He's been a ton of. If you Googled him right now, you'd be like, "Oh, him? Oh, I love that dude. I had no idea he passed away." And another one before we get to Mr. Wilder, Alexis Arquette, from the fantastic Arquette acting family. The Rosanna, Trisha, Lewis, Richmond, David, family of actors. Alexis Arquette was in Pulp Fiction, Lords of Dogtown. He was in a movie called Jumping at the Boneyard with Tim Roth. It's a really good movie. Most people probably know him as George in The Wedding Singer, the guy who just kept singing "Do You Really Want to Hurt Me?" Like every time there was a lag in the movie, they would bring him in to sing "Do You Really Want to Hurt Me?" And Steve Buscemi, the scene with Steve Buscemi, ooh, I like her.
Yeah.
So Alexis Arquette, gone too soon. I think he was only 46 or 47 years old. So that's sad. But so lost a lot of great people. Now, Mr. Gene Wilder. Gene Wilder, as I said, everybody loved Gene Wilder except
Hitler.
Yeah. And screw him. Gene Wilder did some fantastic movies. Everybody knows his first two big roles, I guess. He was in Bonnie and Clyde, and then he was in Mel Brooks's The Producers. Yeah. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Of course, Willy Wonka
is the movie that kind of made him a huge star.
Willy Wonka.
So, and then later on, the magnificent pairing of Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor, and I've never actually gotten the story of how their paths crossed.
I remember an interview that they had. I think it was when Richard Pryor passed, and they were interviewing Gene. And he said they were on the set of it was either Silver or Stir Crazy, and there was an argument on the set with like the producer and director and all that, and they were standing together, kind of waiting, for them to figure it out, and they both started doing at the same time.
Yeah.
He said, like, we were two different people from like two different paths and worlds.
Yeah.
But when we got together, it was like we were like twin brothers.
They had found
a kismet, like the same spirit,
kindred spirit.
Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah,
and that's what he said that in like a Barbara Walters interview.
Yeah, because most of the old classic comedy teams, there were people who came up together, like Martin and Lewis, had done stage stuff, and the Three Stooges, and Abbott and Costello. They got their start in radio.
Marx Brothers, yeah.
Exactly. They all came up together. But Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, it's like they were just kind of thrown together, and they're like, oh, this works. It's like oil and water, but this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And they made 4 great movies. Well, Another You wasn't great, but it's worth a look because it's the last movie they did together.
Yeah.
But Silver Streak, Stir Crazy, and they all start with the letter S. Silver Streak, Stir Crazy, and See No Evil, Hear No Evil are all great. The first one I want to talk about is we'll start with Silver Streak. Arthur Hiller directed it, and Gene Wilder, and this cast is like the most 70s cast you could find, because in addition to Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor, it's also got Ned Beatty, Jill Clayburgh, Ray Walston, and Jaws from the James Bond movies.
From James Bond movies.
Yeah, so it's like,
and Jaws.
Patrick McGowan. If you haven't seen it, Silver Streak is basically kind of like a comedic take on an Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, it is kind of like...
It's very Hitchcockian. There's like, with body doubles and murder, it's on a train, and...
A murder that may not have happened.
Yeah. And...
was it Vertigo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Richard Pryor doesn't even pop up until almost an hour into the movie.
Yeah.
And but their camaraderie together is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's got one of the most famous scenes ever, in my opinion, is when he's trying to sneak him past. They have to put shoe polish on Gene Wilder's face to get him onto the train.
It's like, I just hope we don't see no Muslims.
Literally like one of those iconic movie scenes. Silver Streak, great movie. It's one of my favorites.
One of my favorites.
It gave us the pairing of Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. So that was Sidney Poitier, right?
That was Poitier, yeah.
Yeah. Stir Crazy, they're 2 guys who get framed for a bank robbery, and it's basically just Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor trying to survive in prison.
Yeah.
And that was the first movie where it was the 2 of them were like equal build. Like they were the co-stars of the movie.
Yeah. It was
so good.
It's very much like Life. Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence.
Yeah, and a little bit like kind of like The Longest Yard also.
Yeah,
with
with Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's another one. Like, I didn't like Stir Crazy as much because I'm more of like the action suspenseful type of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like Silver Streak is still my favorite.
Stir Crazy is a little more slapsticky.
A little more slapsticky, but them when the bird outfits. Like we'll lay anybody out. You'll be laughing. Yeah, it's hysterical.
It's so hysterical. Good.
It's one of those classic scenes.
And then See No Evil, Hear No Evil. Richard Pryor is blind. Gene Wilder is deaf, and it's another thing where they've been framed for a murder that they didn't commit, and they're just trying to survive and at the same time find the actual murderer. and it was one of Kevin Spacey's first big movies. He was,
Oh, that's right.
He was like the villain's
He
henchman
was the heavy, yeah.
with the like over the top British accent.
Yeah.
And it's really good. And again, it's one of those movies, like the jokes are obvious. It's like, okay, one's blind and one's deaf, so there's a lot of jokes revolving around the fact that only one can see and one can hear.
Right.
But it's so good, and there's some great scenes in that movie. There's a scene towards the end where Richard Pryor's character kind of has a breakdown, where Gene Waters like leaves him in the swamp.
Oh, right.
And he's almost like on the verge of like it's so like there's some real stuff going on in there. And
because they had that chemistry.
Yeah,
they just
that's one of those things. Like as we said before, you can't fake chemistry.
Yeah.
Like when two people actually are friends in real life, it makes the movie that much better.
Yeah.
See No Evil, Hear No Evil. Yeah, I think 1988, 89.
I haven't seen this in a
All
while.
that was that same director as Silver Streak. So if you're a fan of Mr. Arthur Hiller,
yeah.
Arthur Hiller, yeah. Check it out. And the other one I want to talk about is The Frisco Kid.
Frisco Kid.
Frisco Kid. Now, if you were to talk about westerns starring Gene Wilder, everyone's going to just say Blazing Saddles.
You know,
but
obviously.
In 1979, 78, 79, they made a movie, Gene Wilder and Harrison Ford. It was directed by Robert Aldrich. And this is another one of my favorite movies. Gene Wilder plays Young Frankenstein is on the TV, so if you see our eyes darting, we're like seeing some funny stuff happening on the TV.
It is fantastic.
But Gene Wilder plays a kind of rabbi in training from Poland, and he's bringing a copy of the Torah to a temple in San Francisco. Some stuff happens at the beginning with a train robbery, so it's basically him trying to make it from, I guess, New York or Philadelphia to San Francisco. So it's great fish out of water story. He's from Poland. He has no concept of what America is. He gets teamed up with kind of a low-level bank robber, wannabe desperado, played by Harrison Ford. And they go on an adventure. And that's another one of those things where, like...
Is that pre or post Star Wars?
79. So it was like between Star Wars and Empire.
Star Wars and Empire, yeah.
And that's another one of those things where it's a comedy, but like there's some real stuff going on. Like it's like there's murder and they're being chased by these bad guys, and there's that climactic scene at the end where like the villain is telling Gene Wilder, like Gene Wilder refuses to pick up the gun. Right. And because he's a man of peace, a man of God, he's not going to hurt anybody. And it's so good. It's such a good movie. I highly recommend it. Again, it's a comedy, but there's like a lot of elements of drama. And if you've seen the movie Shanghai Noon borrowed a lot from Frisco Kid. That entire opening scene where the botched bank robbery and then he gets thrown off the train and the gold is missing. Like that's almost the exact same way Frisco Kid started. Right. Jackie Chan is from China and he's trying to trying to complete a mission with this guy who's not altogether reliable. And they become friends. So whoever made Shanghai Noon or wrote Shanghai Noon, they watched Frisco Kid a lot. And
so what you're saying is like new Hollywood is borrowing from old Hollywood, like stealing ideas? Is that what you're saying? What? Is that what you're suggesting? No.
Not even.
Like Hollywood.
Just this one time.
Just this one time. Gotcha.
So those are my kind of Gene Wilder picks. Silver Streak, See No Evil, Hear No Evil, Frisco Kid. They're all fantastic. He's made a bunch of other great movies. Sherlock Holmes, Smarter Brother. The World's Greatest Lover. The
Woman in Red.
Haunted Honeymoon.
Haunted Honeymoon.
He did a couple of movies with his wife, Gilda Radner, in the 80s. Haunted Honeymoon and Woman in Red are two of them. He was in Woody Allen's Everything You Wanted to Know About Sex But Afraid to Ask. He's the guy who's in love with the sheep. He's like, he's in love with the sheep and he wants to marry it.
Yep.
It's he was great. He won an Emmy for guest starring on an episode of Will and Grace.
Will and Grace, yep.
Fantastic. Great. He was a writer. He was a director, producer. He
did it all.
He did it all.
Yeah.
And he left a legacy for us to enjoy for forever and ever.
Yeah.
And so those are the ones that we had kind of picked out, but now we want to just go into a little bit of Young Frankenstein, because we've got Halloween coming up.
Right.
So why not end with talking about the movie that's actually playing on the TV?
Frankenstein.
That's like distracting us from the show.
Young Frankenstein.
And if you don't enjoy watching the show, we get it. Just stop watching us and put on Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, just put it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
or Silver Street.
Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder wrote the script together. This is one of the best examples of this movie is a sequel. It's a remake. It's a parody, and it's an homage, all in one movie.
All in one movie.
It's all of those things.
All of it.
Yeah, because he is playing the son of Dr. Frankenstein from the original one, but it's parodying everything that happened in the original one. It has basically the same plot, so it's a remake, but the way he shot it and filmed it with the music and black and white and all the characters, and it's an homage to the 1930s type of horror films. So, much like Blazing Saddles was like, yeah, it was a parody of westerns, but like, look at like, if you were to just hit mute on Blazing Saddles and look at the cinematography,
oh yeah,
it's like it looks like every John Ford western from the 40s and 50s. Yeah. It's a beautifully shot movie. Yeah. So Blazing Saddles was what he did for westerns, and Blazing Saddles he did for kind of classic Universal horror films with Young Frankenstein. And you talk about the supporting cast.
Well, they had so obviously Gene Wilder, Peter Boyle
as the monster.
As the monster, was a lot of people remember him from Everybody Loves Raymond, the show that was on forever, supremely popular. Terry Garr, comedic movie legend. Cloris Leachman. Who is.
She was like the oldest person in this movie, and she's one of the few that's still alive from the movie.
just
sadly,
she would say either despite a few of her enemies, or as like a really funny joke.
Yeah,
like the longest running joke. Like
her and Betty White.
Well, like you realize I'm going to outlive you guys. Whatever, Cloris.
Yeah,
and there she is. Who am I forgetting? Cloris, Terry,
Madeline Kahn.
I can forget Madeline.
And Marty Feldman, Igor.
Feldman.
And an uncredited performance by Gene Hackman. He plays the old blind man who takes the monster in. Is the scene where he lights his thumb on fire thinking it's a cigar. There's a scene in the original Frankenstein where an old blind man takes in the monster and shows pity on him. They basically redo that scene and play it for comedy in the remake, and Gene Hackman plays the old man, which
was weird because he was young then.
Yeah,
like he's old now.
Yeah, but in Young Frankenstein, he was probably like in his 30s or 40s, but with the makeup and the beard and everything. It's like he was like an old man.
That's that.
But in Young Frankenstein, Gene Hackman was probably younger than you and I are now. Think about that.
Well, but here's the thing. I wonder if that's like a thing in Hollywood that could be like
where people just
picketed. They're like, how come you got young people playing old people?
You couldn't hire an old actor.
Yeah, like you couldn't get an old actor. You had to get. Well, you got Gene Hackman. Like, yeah, but you didn't know he was Gene Hackman back then.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like he couldn't. There was plenty of old actors who could have played the old guy.
Yeah.
And freaking takes him in. No, you got.
Yeah, George Burns was like, throw me a bone. I'm a legend.
Like, yeah, but George Burns was like, he had like cigar money.
Yeah.
But
that would have made the cigar scene even funnier if it was George Burns.
That would have been perfect.
That kind of full circle. Yeah. Wow. Blazing Saddles. A lot of people. Anytime you're seeing a list of like the greatest comedies of all time, Young Frankenstein. Did I say Blazing Saddles? Yeah. And another great. Those movies were made the same year.
Oh, that's right.
Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles were both made the year I was born, which was so. It was an amazing year because it's the year that I was given to the world.
But I'm gonna leave that
for someone to make literally two of the funniest movies of all time, like 6 months apart from each other.
Yeah.
That's unreal. But like I was saying,
same director. And
anytime someone's putting together like a list of the funniest movies of all time. Young Frankenstein is always in the top 10, sometimes top 5. It's always
Blazing Saddles.
Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, Annie Hall, Airplane. It's like, it's those, or Some Like It Hot. It's like an interchangeable of those handful of movies.
Some Like It Hot?
It's always on there.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's weird, because I would still put like Buster Keaton or Charlie Chaplin type stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Even ahead of that.
Oh, I would too.
Know?
So, all right. So we gave you a lot of Gene Wilder movies. Now I want to do a bit. Mom, this is for you. Every time I talk to my mom, she talks about the show, and she says, try to work in some movie quotes. Just try to throw in some movie quotes in the episode. So, and I've had a hard time doing that because I want it to be organic. But, so, Mom, and to everyone else out there, this is in honor of Gene Wilder. I've got 10 different quotes from 10 different movies, and I'm just going to spring them on Huru. Huru doesn't know anything about this. I told him about it before the show,
but he didn't know something about it.
But he didn't get to look at the list. I will say this. The 4 movies that are displayed here are all on here, and it's 10 different quotes from 10 different movies.
Huru's also not happy about this.
So there won't be like 2 Blazing Saddles quotes. It's like 1 quote per movie.
So thanks,
So,
Mom.
and again, a lot of these are super obscure. If you get more than 3 or 4 of these, that's pretty impressive. If you get all 10 of them, you're cheating.
Yeah.
You're on IMDb as you're watching this. Or you're like a Rain Man level.
Yeah,
like, if you get 10, make your own show so I can watch it and learn from you.
Yeah.
But, all right, number 1. Oh, you should never, never doubt what nobody is sure about.
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka, boom. Number 2. I'm hysterical. I'm having hysterics. I'm hysterical. I can't stop when I get like this. I'm hysterical. My God.
Is that Young?
No.
No.
But it is Mel Brooks.
Blazing Saddles?
Producers.
Oh, that's right.
Where he takes his blue blanket. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Number 3. And this is one of my favorites. I had to look this one up just to get the exact wording. The clue is in the word cheddar. Let's see. 7 letters rearranged. They come to, let me see. Rached, Dechdar, Chadared. Hello, Chadared. Unless I'm mistaken, Chadared is the Egyptian word meaning to eat fat. Now we're getting somewhere.
I have no idea what that.
But that's great.
But that line is brilliant.
That's from The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Brother.
Okay.
The next one. The next one. Well, my name is Jim, but most people call me Jim.
Regarding Henry?
You said it already once.
Oh. Regarding Henry?
Blazing Saddles.
Ah!
That's when Cleavon Little asked him what his name
The other thing I said once before.
Exactly, yeah. I know you're going to get this one. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a woman?
Fuzzy Wuzzy was a woman? Wait.
Because he reads lips and he can't hear.
Right, yeah, that's well, I was trying to say, so I've been saying, hear no evil, see no evil for forever.
Yeah.
So I reversed it, so I was typing it, and then I was like, no, it's wrong. I was going to tell IMDb that they were wrong about the movie title.
You were going to argue with IMDb?
I was going to argue them.
Nope, you're still wrong.
Like, nope, you're still wrong. Hear no evil comes first.
Fuzzy Wuzzy was a woman. That is from See No Evil, Hear No Evil. The next
From
one.
Hear no evil, see no evil.
Yeah. In the Talmud, it says, find thyself a teacher. This I have done. However, there were times I feared he would find another people.
Frisco
Kid.
Frisco.
This is another good. And again, we've talked about all these movies basically. We tried to teach him charades. He didn't get it. He just didn't get it.
I'm actually laughing at this movie. I'm gonna go with Pinocchio.
That's Stir Crazy.
Stir Crazy.
With their big cellmate.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. All right. Rembrandt is dead.
He is?
That's the quote.
Oh.
Rembrandt is dead.
Producers.
Silver Street. That's because they're trying to get the Rembrandt letters. That's the guy that got.
Oh. Okay.
This one is incredibly obvious. If you don't get this one, I might kick you off the show. Put the Kendall back.
What was that?
That's my German accent. Imagine me being stuck behind a door that's moving. Put the candle.
No.
back.
I can imagine the scene in the movie that it's in. Because actually, it just ran by like half an hour ago when we started the show. So that.
Laughing at my
I was just laughing at the accent.
All right. That is Young Frankenstein, obviously.
Yeah.
And the last one. This one I don't think anybody would get. I just needed to find a 10th movie.
Okay.
Because you wasted so much time on me, you made me feel very important.
That's Woman in Red.
That is The Little Prince. Remember he played the fox in The Little Prince?
That's The Little Prince.
Yep. So, there you go. Oh, and as you just saw, Baxter just made a little cameo into the show. That is Baxter. That's my roommate slash son. And
little brother.
If you've seen our show, you know him from our little closing production logo. That's Baxter. That was his first appearance. We've been filming a few episodes over at my place now, so now Baxter is going to pop up from time to time and hopefully not ruin stuff. But he probably will. So, yeah.
Is that it? Alright, so
that's it.
to get back to Cameron, I'm going to play a trick. I've got this neat trick that I got from him. And I was like, so, Cameron, is this your card? Huh? Is that your card?
What the hell are you talking about? I never drew a card. I never...
With the card trick, what we did,
you never asked me to draw a card.
I forgot to give you the deck of cards. But if I had, would this have been your card? 7 spades.
Whoa!
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, what up? Boom.
What?
Yeah, that's what. I don't just like talking about movies.
Is this marked?
I'm amphibious. I got skills.
How did you do? Are you a wizard?
Actually, yes.
Warlock. How the hell did you do that?
Or a witch. We're in Carborough.
This would have been my card.
Yep, I know.
That's amazing, dude.
I know. I'm amazing. That's actually my stage name.
Damn.
Amazing George.
Tune in next week.
I'm Amazing George. That's Cameron. Tune in next week.
Is it like invisible ink or like...
I mean, yeah, but I also created invisible ink. So, that's just another one of my many talents.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's Amazing George.
You got to show me how you did that because my mind is blown.
Nope. Can't do it. Amazing George.
Wow. Tune in next week.
Don't do that.
My mind is blown.
Yeah, it is. But don't tune in next week.
Tune in next week. Keep watching movies. Gene Wilder, rest in peace.
We love Gene.
Yeah, we do. And
We love Chong too, but
Tommy Chong apparently didn't die.
He's not dead.
Yeah. So
we love him too. Bill Nunn.
Alexis
Rest in
Arquette.
Love and hate.
Kim McGuire.
Love and hate.
To everyone that we've lost, they meant something to you.
Except for Chong.
Yeah.
Because he did mean something to us, but
he's still alive.
He's still alive.
Yeah.
Being high somewhere.
Yeah. So, Gene Wilder, seriously, in all seriousness, you were an amazing guy. You did it all. You did it well. You were a true gentleman. And I honestly, I can say I love just about everything you ever did.
That is true.
So, good night.
Yeah, I see you.
It's the Baxter Show.
It's the Baxter Show.